You finally feel something again. Maybe it happens across a table. Maybe it happens in the middle of a conversation. Someone looks at you a certain way, and your whole attention moves toward that person. You feel energy, curiosity, desire, possibility, and then the fear arrives. What if this is how it started last time? What if the chemistry means I'm choosing the same kind of person again? What if I can't trust what attracts me? What if the part of me that chooses love is the exact part of me that got me hurt? After narcissistic abuse, it can feel safer to distrust the spark than to risk being wrong again. You may decide that calm means healthy, intensity means danger, and attraction itself is evidence against the person you're attracted to. But neither calm nor intensity establishes health, compatibility, or danger by itself. Attraction is real, but attraction isn't compatibility. The spark is an experience, it's not a conclusion. So, today I want to help you stop putting your attraction on trial. You don't need to shut it down, you don't need to obey it either. You need to understand what it can tell you, what it can't tell you, and what reality still has to show you. I'm going to give you three simple words: spark, familiar, reality. Here, programmed means some expectations and roles were learned before you knew to question them. They can be examined and revised. Spark, familiar, reality is a protocol I want to inspire you to consider. It's simply a way to enjoy what you feel without forcing that feeling to predict the future. Attraction does something useful, it gets your attention. Attraction says, there's something here I want to move toward. That's worth preserving. Desire is part of being alive. Excitement isn't something to withdraw from. Wanting another person doesn't prove that you're unhealed, desperate, naive, or repeating the past. The problem begins when the spark is asked to answer the questions it can't answer. For example, questions like, are they safe? Are we compatible? Is this love? Will they stay? Is this finally my person? Attraction cannot answer those questions by itself. It can begin the inquiry, but it cannot complete it. In the book OLNE, it places chemistry beside context and knowledge. It also proposes letting a relationship take shape as people come to know each other instead of assigning it a future at the beginning. It's called the IMR model of relationships. Chemistry can happen quickly. Knowledge grows over time. That doesn't make chemistry false. It makes chemistry early. You can enjoy the beginning without demanding that the beginning can tell you the ending. The title says, your picker was programmed, or your chooser was programmed. It's a metaphor for things you learned before you knew you were learning them. Maybe you learned to become useful when you wanted closeness. Maybe you learned to earn attention by being endlessly accommodating. Maybe you became the rescuer, the performer, the peacekeeper, the impressive one, or the person who needed almost nothing. Those roles can become familiar. And sometimes a new attraction can coexist with a role, pace, or emotional position that feels familiar. It feels like home. That still doesn't tell you why the attraction exists. It doesn't tell you the other person's a character. It doesn't tell you what the other person's character is. It doesn't tell you whether the connection fits. The work is not to stop attraction. It's to separate the attraction from the role you immediately begin performing around it. Let's imagine, for example, Nia meets Lewis in a cooking class. The conversation goes easy. Lewis is funny. Nia feels seen and nice and physically attracted. When Lewis asks for Nia's number, the answer is yes before the question's even fully landed. Nothing is wrong with that. The first word is spark. Ask yourself, what am I feeling and wanting right now? Nia might say or write, I feel excited. I want Lewis to like me. I want another conversation. I want this to become something. There's no correction here, no shame, no attempt to turn desire into a clinical symptom. Spark means telling the truth about the present experience. The important part of spark is it doesn't ask, should I feel this? Instead, it asks, what do I feel? You might feel desire, relief, hope, curiosity, sexual energy, admiration, urgency, or all of them at once. Naming the spark helps you experience it without quietly turning it into a contract. Nia wants this to become something. The desire is allowed, but Lewis hasn't agreed to the future Nia can already imagine. Nia doesn't yet know enough to know what form this connection can hold. The spark is real. The imagined future is still imagined. So we go to the second word. The second word is familiar. With familiar, ask, what role, pace, or emotional position feels recognizable here? So after the class, Nia starts composing the perfect message. Nia remembers everything Lewis said and starts thinking about how to become especially easy to want. Lewis mentioned being busy, so Nia decides never to ask for much time. Lewis mentioned a painful former relationship, so Nia begins imagining how to prove that Nia is safer, more patient, and more understanding than the former partner. Lewis hasn't requested any of this. The familiar part isn't necessarily Lewis. The familiar part may be Nia's position, like auditioning for love by becoming endlessly accommodating. That recognition isn't a diagnosis. It doesn't prove that Lewis is manipulative. It doesn't prove Nia's attraction is trauma repetition, compulsion. It simply gives Nia another piece of information. It's it's saying, I like this person, and I notice that liking this person makes me want to disappear into usefulness. That sentence is more honest than either extreme. The first extreme says, this chemistry proves Lewis is right for me. The second extreme says, this chemistry proves Lewis is dangerous. You're going to splitting. Here's what the honest thing you could say sounds like. The chemistry is real, and so is the role I feel tempted to perform. I need more information about both. The book OLNE describes internalized messages that can feel like our own thoughts and feed preformed responses before we've evaluated new information. Vaknin similarly describes situation-triggered automatic thoughts that can feel like our own thinking. You don't need to sort those ideas into technical categories. Just notice the instruction that appeared with the spark. It might say, make them need you, or don't ask for too much, or prove you're different from everyone who hurt them. The person in front of you didn't necessarily create that instruction. The spark didn't prove it. The instruction may have already been available, waiting for the right situation to activate it. You may discover that the familiar feeling is positive. Maybe you recognize playfulness, intellectual excitement, sexual ease, warmth, or the relief of being listened to. Familiar doesn't mean pathological, it means recognizable. And you may not know where the recognition comes from. You don't have to construct a perfect childhood explanation before the next date. The point isn't to solve yourself, it's to notice when a feeling begins writing instructions for you. We go to the third word, reality. With reality, ask, what have I actually observed about reciprocity, respect, capacity, and fit? This is not about what you hope, not about what you fear, not what label says. This is about what have you observed. Across two dates, Lewis asks reciprocal questions. Lewis keeps two plans. Later, Lewis cancels one plan with notice and suggests another time. That's the record so far. It doesn't prove that Lewis is safe. It doesn't prove deep compatibility. It also doesn't prove avoidance, rejection, manipulation, or danger. Nia can notice disappointment without converting the cancellation into abandonment. Nia can appreciate this rescheduling without converting it into lifelong reliability. Reality grows one observation at a time. Vaknin recommends focusing on what people do and how the relationship functions instead of trying to diagnose a date. For dating, that means you don't need to decide whether a cancellation proves an attachment, style, or personality disorder. You can ask simpler questions. Was the cancellation communicated? Was your time treated with respect? Was another plan proposed? Does the pattern remain reciprocal as more situations appear? One behavior doesn't reveal a whole person. Repeated behavior gives you more to work with. Reality also includes you. Now, how can you know that? Here's some questions you can ask. Did you become less honest to preserve the spark? Did you agree to a pace you didn't want? Did you hide a need because you thought wanting less would make you easier to love? Did you stay curious about Lewis or did you start managing the image you hoped Lewis would choose? These questions are not an invitation to monitor yourself without mercy. They help you notice whether the familiar role is replacing the real relationship. Remember what we talked about in previous episodes: to escape pathology, you have to constantly install reality testing. The book OLNE points out experience becomes perspective when we revisit it and learn from it. An unwanted result doesn't automatically prove that an informed, ethical, considered choice was foolish. It gives you more to review. If every painful result becomes proof that your picker, your chooser is broken, you learn shame. If every exciting beginning becomes proof that you finally found the answer, you learn fantasy. Reviewing what happened lets you compare the story with the behavior and update your next choice. For example, maybe Nia continues seeing Lewis. Maybe the connection deepens. Maybe the attraction fades. Maybe the pattern appears that, that makes Nia step away. None of those endings retroactively makes the first spark shameful. The goal is not to choose perfectly on contact. The goal is to remain present long enough to choose again to as reality becomes clearer. Before or after a date, write three short answers. For spark, ask, what am I feeling and wanting right now? For familiar, ask, what role, pace, or emotional position feels recognizable here? For reality, ask, what have I actually observed? Don't grade the answers. Don't use them to diagnose the person. Don't treat a familiar role as proof that history is repeating. Just replace one conclusion with one honest question and one observable fact. For example, if you write, I feel intense attraction, you don't have to add, therefore this is dangerous. If you write, I want to rescue this person, you don't have to add, therefore this person is a narcissist. If you write, they listened carefully and respected my no, you don't have to add, therefore they're safe forever. You're learning to let each piece of information remain the size it actually is. And to be clear, by the way, if writing this or reviewing this increases your shame, compulsive contact, distress, or danger, stop. This reflection creates no duty to disclose, confront, date, continue contact, reconcile, or give anyone another chance if coercion, stalking, threats, violence, sexual coercion, retaliation, or credible danger are present. Confidential safety support comes first. One of the sublime things you learn from the book OLNE, it teaches you is you don't owe anyone that's threatening you further communication or opportunity or platform. Your chooser, your picker, isn't a defective machine hidden somewhere inside you. It's your history, your desire, your attention, your hopes, your learned roles, and your present capacity interacting in real time. Some of that may be familiar. None of it has to become destiny. Feel the spark. Notice the familiar position. Then return to reality. Attraction can begin the discovery. Knowledge and repeated behavior inform what follows. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
I don't want the version who's frightening staying. I held you too close, like I could stop the changing. I don't want devotion built from locked doors. I want your honest hands when they choose this shore. Go where your heart can still hear itself. Become who you are when no one is watching. And if you return, let it be because your name still felt light in the dark and the rush. I don't wanna own you, I wanna know you. I want the one who comes back on their own. Every open road still carry you toward me. Every open road still carry you home. Some days love is quiet, just a door left open. No chains on the future, no vows left broken. We can change like weather, still mean the same. Two people away, choosing the flame. Go where your heart can still hear it. Become who you are when no one is watching. And if you return, let it be because your name still felt light in the dark and the rush. I don't wanna own you, I wanna know you. I want the one who comes back on their own. Every open road still carry you toward me. Every open road still carry you home. If we meet again, let it not be fear, let it be the calm of a love stayed clear. No locked up promise, no desperate hope, just two free hearts finding the goal. I don't